Greetings, Mech Warriors, and welcome to This Week in Comp for the week of October 21st, 2024. This week saw the end of the comp queue and another two teams going home, leaving us with our top four teams. But before we take a look at who's left and what's coming up, let's take a look at some clips. All right, first up, we're gonna take a look at the Darksea Corsairs versus Vigilance. This is Bowser the Snake, submitted by Bowser himself. We see Bowser coming up here with the adder, sneaking up on Nyandir in the Direwolf, gets a clean back shot and just continues to lay into the Direwolf using all of those AP Gauss. And we can see Nyan, well, Bowser there looking really rough, but we see Nyan looking even rougher. Well done, Bowser, a 1v1 light versus Assault. Next up, we're going to take a look at Mantra versus Tutu Apers in this basement trade. I'm going to leave this one to the casters.
And the Kolos, but the Kolos is down here as well, right? So I'm going to try and see what I can view. I hate going in the basement to try and see stuff. Oh, Jiffy ran through the front and absolutely ate an absolute pile of shit. But Tutu
oh my goodness, Jiffy's open side. He's about to be halved.
You know, this is
Tutu waits. I feel like they're just going to get picked apart here.
Tutu ate us. Yes, just Mantra just sort of trading the corner. They're just sort of half trading the corners here. It's interesting. Interesting.
Ohasu is
pick him.
Peeking in. I don't why are they poking though?
I know. Look at this. It's like a trade war at 150 meters in the basement. Oh no, Trem gets
should
nuked.
Just be running in. They have a brawl deck. Just run in, please. Trem goes down. Crusader's a huge loss here, especially since their Colos is still whole.
JBV needs to be using the angle.
He needs to be running around the side, but
JBV in that flea.
He needs critical misplay.
He needs to go around the corner. They need to be using that mags on the far corner. It could easily just have nuked Jiffy or the spider for that instance.
Old Hasu gets down Andy Lard, but
Jiffy's
swinging around.
Like it's really weak. I think that was Jiffy half. Oh no, almost. Oh my god, what?
Goes down. This is trading even. I'm in shock.
And now, all the charges here as well. He's trading that corner.
Legged.
Oh my god. Oh no, Jiffy does go down. Mantura up now. Like decisively. With that Kolos out of the fight. And now Mantura pushing. Now they've seen it. Now they're pushing. They're on. Yep, gone. He's out. Percentages are falling. There's still way too many mechs on the field here for Mantra.
And here we are with the 10th Lion Guards Revenants versus the Visigoths. Check your corners. We see Shadow Ace and Bacon Lord lying away. Eco Ninja overextending, trying to get this kill and just gets absolutely deleted by Shadow Ace at all. And the rest of the Fjord team pushing up just to take it out. They do take out Bacon Lord, but here's Iron Wolfpack and the Executioner going down for his troubles. Always check your corners, folks. Let's start with the winner's bracket. Last weekend was the winner's bracket finals. Vigilance and the Darksea Corsairs went all the way to 5 games, and Vigilance pulled off the win 3-2. This puts Vigilance into the grand finals versus the winner of the loser's bracket final. Speaking of which, the Corsairs have been sent to said loser's bracket final, laying in wait for the victors of the semifinals match this upcoming week. Going into that match are the 10th Lion Guards Revenants, who beat the Visigoths 3-2, and Mantra, who swept the 228 Reapers 3-0. So I get my wish from last week, a Mantra and Revenants matchup. Thinking about that, it makes a nice segue into the stats segment. I noticed last week that Mantra and the Revenants seem to have similar philosophies of mech choice. Mantra, however, has become well known for, shall we say, unorthodox strats, so we have similar material with different usage. I'm mixing things up this week to be more of a comparison, so let's see how my conjecture is standing up with a side-by-side presentation. Taking a look at the Revenants, we see that they're going to take a Viper and a Stone Rhino almost every time. After that, the Blackjack, Executioner, Shadowcat are just barely likely picks, a little above 50%. Comparing that with Mantra, they also will bring a Viper almost every time, and we see some more, but not particularly strong consistency with the rest of the mechs. Bottom line here, expect to see Vipers, at least one Stone Rhino, and who knows what else. Both teams are pretty varied beyond the Viper, which makes predicting them challenging for opponents. Comparing map wins though, the Revenants remain undefeated on Frozen, have more wins than not on HPG, and everything else is 50-50. Mantra, on the other hand, has more wins than losses on every map except Frozen, which is 50-50, showing particular strength on Terra Firma and Bog. Taking a quick look at the overall stats, we could see that my observations from last week about 20-ton mechs becomes even more prominent. Taking a look at what those most used mechs are, we see the Flea and Osiris being the top picks there. So there's your 20-ton and your 35-ton mechs. I think there's something to it, especially with the most used Flea chassis being the 19 with all those mag shots. It's a really powerful build with the mobility to boot. And to wrap up the stats portion this week in Comp, I want to take a look at the stats of an individual map because we can. Thank you to the makers of this tool. Let's take a look at HPG, since that's one of the maps that's statistically close for these teams. Starting with the Revenants, there's your likely Wolfpack composition right there. Out of 3 games played on this map, we could see that 2 of those drops consisted of a Viper F, a Mistling 7 Dragoon, a Blackjack 1X, a Shadow Cat, Mishipeshu, and a Javelin 11F, backed up by a Corsair 7A Trader and some sort of Stone Rhino. The rest seems to be up to circumstance and strat. Mantra, by contrast, is almost certainly going to bring a Stone Rhino and Viper and some sort of Mishipeshu. Otherwise, it's a bit of a toss-up between a bunch of other chassis, so who knows what we'll see from Mantra. Looking at distribution, however, I would expect the Revenants to have a more mobile Wolfpack, while Mantra tends towards the hard hitters. Looking at the map overall, we can see that the Shadowcat and Viper are the top chassis picks, as is the Stone Rhino and Executioner, but interestingly, we could see that there's a side preference for each chassis. The Stone Rhino is preferred on Team 1, while the Executioner is preferred on Team 2. Every way that I think about that, all I can come up with is that the closest distance from the drop zones to the wall are about equal at 1 kilometer, except that Team 1 has 2 zones from the edge of the wall within that kilometer, while Team 2 has only 1, though it's maybe 50 to 100 meters less depending on pathing. I'm not sure that would necessarily account for the Executioner preference to get there up quickly, but we can see that it does account for the vast majority of weight for Team 1 being placed in Bravo and Charlie, which are those 2 drop zones that are close to the wall. By contrast, Team 2's weight tends to be more spread out. What does that mean? Well, there's probably a bunch of things that can be drawn from that, but what stands out to me is that Delta 6 is going to be a hot trading spot from Team 1, since they've got 2 drop zones close to it, meaning that the spread from Team 2 is probably somewhat indicative of sending a mech or 2 to Fox 4 to counter that for a little while sending a significant number of traders to occupy the Echo 3 side of the wall to exert their power. You can also send your Wolfpack off for that counter rotation, but it leaves your traders also with the option to stray over to Fox 4 to counter the Team 1 snipers when necessary. In other news, the Comp Queue ended this past weekend. Congratulations to the top 25 teams who get a snazzy title for their efforts. Also, to the top 35 teams, congratulations on earning that special summoner. And a special shout out to 2D20, who played an incredible 218 matches this season. That is not a typo. Well done, 2D20, for grinding the fun. And now a look at the current prize pool for the cash tournament. We're at $36,235. Let's keep plugging away at this. Will we see the purse hit 40,000? I think we can do it. This week, might I recommend picking up the 2024 Atlas pack. Why? I mean, it's an Atlas with mask. A fastless, if you will. How could you not? Plus, you get all the 2024 cockpit items, 1,250 MC, over 1 million C-bills, and a month of premium time. Plus, that sweet C-bill boost until May of next year if you haven't already bought a pack yet. And finally, let's take a look at what's coming up this weekend, which is only one match, the losers bracket semifinal between the Revenants and Mantra. The winners will go on to fight the Darksea Corsairs the week after next, and the winners of that will go on to face Vigilance in the grand finals. We're coming down to the end, folks, so be sure to tune in. As always, a reminder that if you want to see the match time in your local time, click the tournament link in the description and click the clock in the upper banner to toggle between UTC and your local time. And that'll do it for this week in Comp. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'm Ivor, and I hope to see you on the field.